So let me continue. So I just wanted to make mention of that, her attitude about this situation. And you know, the host of the show is doing their job. They're not journalists. I keep saying that. So I can't hold them to the same rules of journalism, the same integrity of journalism. I ain't got nothing to do with that. My concern here is the disease that is Jaguar Wright, that wants to spread mistruths along with truths, half truths, and purport herself to be some sort of necessity community.
Mhm.
During that time, I learned that there were things about myself I needed to accept. And it sounds like there's a lot of people in these chats that should go to the hospital to figure out what the fuck is wrong with them, that they are.
Have you ever had a friend that lost a lot of weight and then all of a sudden they think they could tell you something, or they got in a good relationship, so now all of a sudden they're a relationship expert, but they ain't been, you like, well, keep the weight off and then come talk to me. Let me see you next year. Stay in that relationship and grow it, and let's see what happens with it. And then we can talk. Raise a child before you start trying to give me advice about one. Have you ever met somebody like that? That's what this is. Oh, and I got to tell you, my sparkly shirt is because the Wrights are here and we doing shows. So I wanted to dress appropriately. I have a feeling we're going to be giving out some awards tonight. I'm sure there's going to be tears, laughs, all the shows. Um, But that's what this looks like. That's this self-righteous bullshit right here. This self-righteous bullshit is, I went to the hospital. Everybody knows I'm fucked up. So now, y'all know I only think I went there to teach the girls how to play spades and the macabre. Y'all know that I'm fucked up now. I can't hide it. I can't call it anything else but what it is. I went to the hospital. Y'all know I was there. I can't hide that. But now that I've been out after 1 week, and being detained the next week in the airport because I didn't take my medicine with me on a trip. And I was tripping in the fucking airport in a federal facility on people's jobs when I ain't had one. Now I'm going to tell you what you need to do, because I spent a week in the hospital. Tell us, Jack. Let us know.
Just can't believe the truth. Like, you realize to choose not to believe what is evident in your face, that means you're insane.
Yeah.
That describes insanity. When something is sitting right in your face and you still refuse to acknowledge it for what that's insanity. I tell you what, I love the way you explained, like, the time stamped and date.
Hold on. I got to go back.
But this is the thing. Even if it were Photoshop, then that means that
I'm going to pause this for a second because I want to mention something when we look at these pictures. Now, I said we weren't going to examine these pictures, and we're not. That is Allstate's job. They're going to do the credit report. They're going to do the bankruptcy research. They're going to find out information on their current bills and whether or not they have any outstanding judgments. Allstate is going to do all the research on their income and their expenditures and their tax returns. Allstate's going to do the research on where they've been and the maintenance records of the vehicle, and them little bitty fucking tires on that wide wheelbase. Allstate's going to do all that research. I don't have to do it. Don't have to do that. I don't have to do that. But I do have to mention that Goomba said that vehicle was burnt beyond recognition. Let me see if I can get us there without fucking up. Ooh, ladies first. Ladies first. Yeah, Goomba said that car was burnt beyond recognition, and they couldn't even find the VIN number.
When something is
So
sitting
let's
right
see if
in your
that's
face
true.
and
Let's
you
see if that's
still
true.
refuse to acknowledge it for what that's insanity.
I mean, I see Kia, I see a tag. There's a VIN number on the, if you open the deck lid, there's a VIN number right under the deck lid. There's That car's not burnt beyond recognition. It's what did he burnt beyond recognition? Where's the burnt beyond recognition part? Do you see? Even if it is, they did it. Anytime someone says, even if it is, they did it. Absolutely. Um, do y'all see? I mean, you can see the car. Can you tell me what they may have meant by burnt beyond recognition? I'm gonna let it play because there's more pictures about of the paddy wagon. This is that one car people can't stand. A lot of people don't like this car, and I understand why. I love Kia, as I said last week. Shout outs to Kia for paying many of my bills, but a lot of people don't like this car. It just really is one of those things. Um, I mean, the plate is what the plate is. I mean, plates
I
don't
tell you
burn,
what,
but
I love the way you
I just want to
explained like the
go.
timestamp.
I mean, I just want to mention because I just want to talk about the lies. I could give a fuck about this. I never said the fire was a lie. I said I don't think it happened the way it was said to happen. I don't think Betty White put a pipe bomb in this car and set it on fire. I don't. I don't. And I do think that if it wasn't Jaguar Wright being a whore and trying to eat a prostitute's pussy and disrespect her husband, he would have never even been in the position to risk his life with this even happening. That's what I do think. I do. I do think if Jaguar didn't have a pimp in her bones, that she wouldn't have been treating that young girl the way she was. That's what I do think. But I don't see where this car is burnt beyond recognition. I mean, inside that door, there's a VIN number. There's VIN numbers all over that car. It's a Kia Soul. There's VIN numbers all over that car. It's one of the easiest cars to steal, so they put VIN numbers all over it. It's a very evil car, very easily. These are popping up in Atlanta along with Honda Accords and Challengers and Chargers. Everybody's stealing these cars. But we're looking at a car that we can recognize. So what do we mean by it was burnt beyond recognition, Goomba Johnson? I guess we'll ask your nipples in a minute. I just wanted to mention that lie because it wasn't burnt beyond recognition. I can recognize a Kia Soul when I see one. As a matter of fact, the back of the car
And
says
date.
Kia
But
Soul.
this is the thing. Even if it were Photoshop, then that means that ACT towing
Even if it was.
photoshopped it because they sent those pictures to me.
Absolutely. So that's
I
the
didn't
thing.
even
So it's
take
like
those
you
pictures.
can even send it to the
But you sent the picture of the fire to the building to the bloggers that they posted and said that was proof of the fire that happened on February 2nd when your car wasn't burnt up or blued up until February 3rd. You did that. You set the lie up for yourself. You made yourself to look like a liar. First of all, ain't nobody ever talk about this shit until you talked about it. Wasn't nobody following you. Wasn't nobody with you to know your car got blued up or set on fire. You the one that put that in the blogs. And I just want to say that right now because you went off on people like Sean Davy Way, who you released this information to personally, single-handedly, along with those spades lessons you taught while in the mental hospital that was so refreshing, while you got the Jaguar Right treatment that didn't seem to work because the next week you fucking tweaked out in the fucking airport like a dumbass. Stupid. God damn, you say some stupid, stupid shit. God damn. This woman.
the towing shop yourself and ask them, "Are these your photographs?" And they will say, "Yeah."
It ain't even about the fire, y'all. That's the thing. It's not even about the fire. We're not examining whether the
Well,
fire
they're
actually
stamped
happened.
with their
We're talking
company.
about these
And
The
the
motherfuckers.
funny
logo
thing
on
is,
it.
no,
That's
but
why
wait a
now
minute. Wait a minute. There's another brilliant, idiotic moment that happened a few minutes ago. And I have to acknowledge it as the dumbest motherfucker in the chat. You win the award, you brilliant idiot. They were talking about the car was burned but the license plate was fine.
Yes.
So let's look at logic. The car was on fire when they found it, idiot. That means they had to put water.
I am so. Now, here's the thing. Y'all, when Jaguar and Goomba's titties met us in the hot tub 2 weeks ago, the first thing they talked about, the first thing she talked about, because he tried to act like nothing was happening, it was whatever. She first mentioned, her first words out her mouth were, y'all, she slid up in the camera and said she was 23 and Puerto Rican and Mexican. That's the first thing she said. She didn't say, "Oh, y'all, my car was on fire. Life is crazy. Pray for me, whatever. Cash at me, whatever." First thing she talk about is somebody else's pussy. She made that the most important thing. She still hasn't shown any emotional connection with what happened to this car. Now, she does go on to say the car is her family, blah, 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 whatever, whatever, whatever. But she doesn't show any emotional connection to what the gravity she was fucking around with a bitch and her husband felt disrespected, so he went out in the streets to cool off to keep from whooping her ass and parked the car at a laundromat, and the car got set on fire. She later says the car was removed from that place and taken somewhere else and caught on fire. Now I'm real confused, but who cares? Because the devil is the author of confusion, and the devil is my nigga. So whenever there's a confusion, I ask the devil, what we gonna do? Olosi, how we figure this out when Olosi? Because you the author of this confusion, so how we gonna figure this out? Story is all over the place. But the first thing she mentions when the fire actually happened was somebody else's pussy. A 23-year-old. She brings it back up again in this interview because it's so important to mention that this girl is 23. Whenever a woman of a certain age comes in my presence, I automatically become her mama and her auntie. I like pussy like the next bisexual bitch, but I don't make a young girl my target.